Hello and welcome to the Discriminating Gamer, the board game review show that recently watched Greyhound with Tom Hanks on Apple TV+. Gotta tell you, I was really disappointed there weren't any dogs in it. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to go ahead and take a look at my top 10 two-player games of all time. All right, ladies and gentlemen, just thought I'd share with you my favorite two-player games that I enjoy playing. I do have some honorable mentions before we jump into it, and as always, just let me say, this is based on just what do I have the most fun with. I did cheat a little bit. I got some families of games in here, but I think you're going to enjoy this. Let me start with those honorable mentions. First of all, For the Crown from Victory Point Games. For the Crown is a great chess variant. It is a chess deck building game. It's actually a lot of fun. You use cards to either take actions or to recruit units, and then of course you can move those units on the board. Very fun. Star Realms. Star Realms is a fantastic deck building game, two-player deck building game. You can play it with more, but I've only ever played it with two players. I played Hero Realms as well, and I like that one a lot too. But I don't know, I just really like Star Realms. For some reason, I really dig it. But it's a good, fun, quick deck building game. I've played with the original and the Colony Wars expansion. Enjoy them both very much. Star Realms is great. And then finally, I really liked Nightmare Chess. Nightmare Chess is a fantastic chess variant. You play cards that allow your chess pieces to do various cool things throughout the game. Years ago, my friends played this game at a theater where I was, and I didn't get it. I was like, why don't you just play chess? I don't get playing with these cards. And then a few years ago, I actually played it, and it blew me away. I absolutely love this game. Highly recommend that as well. So those are my honorable mentions. So coming in at number 10, my number 10 favorite two-player game is Fields of Despair. This is a game that is World War I. It's a block war game. I really like this one because it kind of encompasses a lot of the war. It's kind of got some really, really cool combat in it. The numbers on the blocks are very, very high, so you're rolling tremendously high numbers here, and you got to use a matrix in order to determine what the numbers actually mean when you work it all out. Because you're dealing with such big numbers, and I really, really enjoy that. I get a huge kick out of that one quite a bit. So that one's a lot of fun. There's also, I like the map. It's got an absolutely beautiful map, and it's kind of got some abstractions for kind of the war at sea and the kind of the Eastern Front, but it's still very, very interesting, and I really like the way that game plays out. So that is Fields of Despair. That is my number 10. That's from GMT Games. My number 9 is a game I haven't played recently, but I played it a long time ago. Absolutely loved it. I need to play it again. This is Leviathans from Catalyst Game Labs. Leviathans is very cool because it is a kind of an alternate history where you've got these like battleship dirigibles that are moving around, that are flying around, that are attacking each other. Whoa. That are flying around attacking each other, and you're trying to blow each other out of the sky. It's just a really fun thematic game, but it's kind of a naval game, but in the air. Really, really had a lot of fun with this game back in the day. So this is my number 9, Leviathans. That is from Catalyst Game Labs. My number 8 is a game that I played, again, years ago. I haven't played it in years. I still have it, and I need to break it out again sometime. This is the American Civil War. This was a Glenn Drover game from Eagle Games at the time, but it kind of encompasses the whole war, the whole theater in the eastern United States. And, of course, the South want European intervention. The North is trying to work toward the Emancipation Proclamation, and all these things have consequences. But at its heart, it's a military game, a war game, and you've got the units on the board, and then when you actually go to battle, you transfer to a battle board, and you fight it out on a battle board where one side's trying to break through someone else's line. And it's really cool, and I really like this one quite a bit. Again, I need to play it again, but that is American Civil War from Eagle Games. My number 7 is a great game. Zach and I did a playthrough of it about, maybe 5 years ago, but this is Commands and Colors Napoleonics. Essentially, this is I love the Commands and Colors system, and this game, you could say, is kind of representative of all of the Commands and Colors games, if you'd like, Memoir 44, Red Alert, CNC Ancients, Medieval, etc., etc., etc. I really like this system, but Napoleonics remains my favorite, and part of that is I love the era. I love the muskets and cavalry and what have you, and this game just does it so well. It's so much fun, and scenarios are fun. I still have not played any of the expansions. I've just played the base game. At some point I need to hit some of the expansions, but I really, really enjoy Commands and Colors Napoleonics. Great Commands and Colors games, and that is from GMT Games, my number 7. My number 6 is a game that I played just a few months back for the first time, and I played it several times since, and I played it as 2-player, which I love it. I also played it solo, as I love it. It was on my favorite solo games list as well. This is Freeman's Farm 1777. This is, of course, an American Revolutionary, a game set in the American Revolution, and you've got kind of the predetermined tracks of where your units are going to move, but how you choose to move them along those tracks. You do have decisions there, but you've got a lot of decisions in this game about how to allocate resources, and you got cards that come up, and it's all really, really cool. I really like Freeman's Farm 1777. It's got some real depth and strategic choices you wouldn't expect, and it plays in like an hour, so it's a really fairly quick game, but like I say, a lot of fun, a lot of strategic depth, a lot of choices in this game. Freeman Farm 7077, that's from Worthington Games, and that is my number 6. Going back to the Napoleonic era, my number 4 is Napoleon 4th edition, the Waterloo Campaign from Columbia Games. This is a great game. This is another game that has a big strategic board, and then you put your pieces on kind of a battle board for the actual battles. But I love this. There's block war games, there's Fog of War, but I love the map because you don't necessarily have spaces. It's the roads, and you're moving to the different towns, and there's almost that feel of, you're Wellington there looking at the map, trying to figure out what Napoleon's going to do. And then you got the Prussians, who of course can come in and join you. All around, it's a very, very fun game. I really enjoyed Napoleon 4th edition. You can play this with 3 players, but I've only ever played it with 2, and to me it feels really good as 2. I wouldn't mind playing it with 3, but again, one of my absolute favorite 2-player games of all time. That's Napoleon 4th edition, the Waterloo Campaign from Columbia Games. My number 5. My number 4 is a game, again, it plays 1 to 4 players, and I played it at every player count, I believe, and my favorite, hands down, is 2-player. 3 and 4 just gets a little too unwieldy and too long, but 2 players is awesome. And this is Space Empires 4X. Space Empires 4X is a great science fiction game. It's a great game about it's kind of got a civilization aspect to it. You got tech trees and colonizing planets and whatnot, but still fundamentally it feels like a war game. And you got Fog of War because you get your ships upside down. You don't know. You can see like how many are in a stack, but you don't know what kinds of ships they are and what they can do. You have decoy ships. So there's a lot of really fun stuff you can do with this game, and I really, really like Space Empires 4X quite a bit. I understand it was based on a video game, I believe, originally, but the board game is just amazing. I got to play it again sometime soon as a 2-player. Fantastic. So this is Space Empires 4X from GMT Games. That is my number 4. Number 3 is a game that came out last year that blew me away. They've already come out with a sequel game to it, so again, this is kind of one that's representative of the family. But this is Undaunted Normandy. Undaunted Normandy is so much fun. It's a squad-level tactical war game, but it's a deck builder as well. So you've got kind of best of both worlds there. I love the deck building aspect of this game, and I love how each of the cards are named, have individual people's names, so you kind of feel like, oh no, I lost this guy, I lost that guy. So that's a lot of fun too, but it's just so smart and so well done and so unexpected. I really, really appreciated that. So that is my number 3, Undaunted Normandy. That is from Osprey Games. My number 2 game, ladies and gentlemen, is Twilight Struggle. I really love Twilight Struggle a lot. I think it's a fantastic game. I think I first played it in 2011 or 2012 with Sean. I played it many times since. It was the very first game that I reviewed on the Discriminating Gamer. I reviewed it with Sean. Twilight Struggle is so much fun because it is better than any other game I've ever played. It forces you to make the least bad of bad decisions. I can play this card for the points, but I'm going to hand him something awesome. And you hate that, and it kills you every time you do it. But again, I can't think of any game that does it as well. I can't think of any game that plays that as well. So I absolutely love that system. I absolutely love those choices that come with it. And again, this game is one that I would say is representative of other games. 1989 I like a lot. 1960 I like a lot. This team's put out a lot of good stuff. Imperial Struggle is the most recent, and I got to tell you, I don't know that I like that as much as I do these other games, but I still enjoy it. But Twilight Struggle is the best, and it's the best because it's got those mechanics that I love of hard choices, but you marry that with the theme of the Cold War, which is done so well. Each card's a little history lesson, and you learn so much and appreciate so much. If you have a firm grasp of the history, I think you might like it a little bit more, but even if you don't, it's a great gateway into that history. But it is so much fun. I love Twilight Struggle, and it just blows me away. Says my number 2, Twilight Struggle from GMT Games. My number one game, ladies and gentlemen, this is a game I love so much, and it was really back and forth between this and Twilight Struggle. In fact, it came down to right to me recording this video to pick one I think I probably like better. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say my favorite two-player game of all time is Star Wars Rebellion. Star Wars Rebellion is just fantastic. One of, in my opinion, the all-time great games. Now, I'll tell you right now, this is billed, it's marketed as a 2 to 4 player game. I do not like playing the 4-player game. I've played a couple of games 4-player. I don't enjoy it 4-player. I don't think I'd enjoy it 3-player if you could figure out to do that. But I play it as a 2-player a lot, and it is so much fun. I've played this game probably more than any other 2-player game in the last 4 or 5 years. Star Wars Rebellion from Fantasy Flight Games is the Star Wars movies in a box, more than any other Star Wars game. It's the best Star Wars game ever, in my opinion. And it is so much fun. It's so good because it, like I say, you get so much of the theme. It's probably I think probably the second most thematic game I've ever played after Battlestar Galactica. But the theme is just so rich here, and you've got the minis and stuff, so you got the toy factor here. You feel like you're playing with Star Wars action figures like when you're 10 years old. So that's really fun too. But it's just a smart game. It's asymmetrical. The Empire's looking for the Rebel base. The Rebels are just trying to do these kind of hit-and-run pinprick moves against the Empire in the hopes of creating a general uprising. It's so smart, so well done. You send your guys out on missions, and stories develop, and you kind of make your own Star Wars stories with those characters and those events in that universe. It is so much fun. I love Star Wars Rebellion. Caveat here, you need the expansion. I don't know that I'd ever go back to playing it without the expansion. This is one that you absolutely must have the expansion for it in order to get the most out of it. But I love this game so much, and I'm hoping they come out with more expansions. And that is my number one game, Star Wars Rebellion from Fantasy Flight Games. Again, number one. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us again for this top 10 list. I appreciate you tuning in. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Do you agree with mine? Do you not like mine? What are your favorite top 10 two-player games? I would really like to know. So please leave a comment for us on YouTube, Board Game Geek, all our good stuff. Like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, etc., etc., etc. And I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, and this is very, very important, if you see Greyhound with Tom Hanks, I hope you enjoy it, but I really hope you read the book from C.S. Forester, The Good Shepherd. That's what it's based on. C.S. Forester is probably my favorite author. I absolutely love his Horatio Hornblower novels. Check those out too.
Please somebody help me on my feet again, and I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know where I've been. Please somebody help me on the solid ground. It's a long time, and I'll be dying. Once a year I wind up in the band. God knows that I love to fight, but I don't ever win. It's a fine line to damnation, but God let me in.
Ooh, look at all them successes.